Welcome, everyone, to the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I am Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all of social media at Barrett Gruber. With me is the host of the podcast, Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks, Bill Kimler. You can follow him across all of social media at politicalbillsc. If you want to participate in the show, you can chat with us on YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook. You can find links at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. How are you, Bill?
Doing great. The award-winning Black, White, and Blue in the South, I might add.
Award-winning.
Yeah. Didn't you say that we were in line for a biggie?
Yeah.
The big media inaugural awards. We're going to be giving out biggies.
I feel like it's sort of similar to the Dundies. Just to be honest with you, it's going to turn more into a roast than anything else. But I think it's a great idea. I haven't had an opportunity to really discuss the plan with it, but I'm thinking like maybe early February. Yeah. We get everybody together. We'll somehow daisy chain enough microphones together so that we can record. We content.
Can do the Biggie Awards / Super Bowl party.
The Biggie Awards. I like it. How was your weekend?
Oh man, it was boring. I got nothing done. It was terrible, so unproductive. It was a complete waste of a weekend. What can I tell you?
We released an episode this weekend. It was we had a good time with that. A friend of the pod and friend of the family, Jason Cassidy, who is a wildland firefighter in California, started out as a fire camp, one of the convicts. And after he served his time,
I had heard about this program, and I had mixed feelings about it just from reading about it in the news, right? So I'd not done anywhere near the deep dive you did, let alone talk to anybody about it. But it was, using ex-convicts or criminals who are out, have done their time and trying to work their way back into society, I guess. And put them out there as firefighters.
Yeah, not even that. I that as well. But some of the wildland firefighters that they have are actual still convicts. These are
okay. Like on prison release.
Yeah, individuals in the penal system in California that because of good behavior and the opportunity, they actually Jason's watching us right now on the
I just got to say that I had this, I wouldn't even say preconception because I had read about it, but I was left with an impression like these guys were being taken advantage of, between a rock and a hard place. You're either doing hard time or you're on the front lines of wildfires. It's like, thanks for the choice. And then I felt, they were getting abused, taken advantage of, low pay. And it's just essentially, the slave labor out of prison. But I will say that your interview opened up kind of the reality of it, the humanity of it.
Yeah.
And you got to know that individual pretty well. And I just found it fascinating. I mean, I sent you a note after I listened to that episode. I thought it was a great interview. Your guest was very clear, insightful and unfiltered. I mean, he just let it out, and I really appreciated it.
Jason's not the only wildland firefighter out of the California penal system that I know as well. I have another friend that his excuse me, his name is Chris, that he also was in the California penal system for some drug charges that he had, but that he worked his way out of prison via the same program. And
wow, you know what? It's kind of impressive. You actually know people who are going through the California penal system. I can't count any in my associates list, and yet you already have two. Did you run through the gangs of LA or something? I mean, what is your background?
We all have skeletons, Bill. We all have skeletons.
No, you got a freaking graveyard. You got Arlington National sitting in your closet.
I would like to not comment on that any further. Okay. If I could, just retain that and hold that in. No one else. Hey, I do have a question for you. So is Bubba Bill Clinton or is Bubba Ghislaine Maxwell's prize horse?
Well, whatever it is, all you know is that Trump blew it.
He
blew it.
When that information came out last week, that there was an email asking, I can't remember who it was, but it was between Epstein, and I guess it was between Epstein and crap. Was it Epstein's brother? I think it was Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein or whatever. But literally a conversation asking. He asked him. He says, "Does Putin still have the pictures of?" And I'm paraphrasing, Donald Trump. Trying to think of the appropriate word. That fellatio. Is that the word?
Fellatio is the word.
Does Putin still have pictures of Donald Trump fellatioing Bubba? And it was very quick to come out that Bubba was Bill Clinton. I made a comment that said that ultimately Bill Clinton has probably the greatest opportunity to come up with one of the best punchlines, or to...
Are you saying that not for 1 second, not one millimeters worth of believability, are you going to have that story is to be taken literally?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, you've got the evidence that Bubba, Bill Clinton, has been on Epstein's planes. I mean, those are flight logs, right?
Yeah.
Trump as well. I mean, you got evidence that Trump and Epstein were close associates. And just imagine they were hopped up on the wildest drugs one night. You know, they were ayahuascaing or whatever it is that they got.
Yeah.
And things got so crazy that indeed that activity occurred, and there are photos, and Putin has them. I mean, what if you took everything literally? These are the same people that take the Bible literally, right? Yeah. You go word for word and everything happened exactly as it said in the Bible. So why not take this literally? What is the chance that that's the case?
Well, and who does it hurt? I mean, if Clinton were to come out,
who's it hurt? It hurts my brain. It hurts my eyes. It hurts everything to even think about it.
But let's say Clinton. I know Clinton's already come out and denied it. But
denied what?
That Donald Trump and he in front of Epstein, and at least...
I'm sorry. Are you saying that he's actually come out and denied it?
There was a denial of sorts.
Okay, I didn't even know that he even addressed it.
Yeah, he gave it a little bit of attention, but had he not,
did he use one of those? It depends on what the definition of is. You know, it depends. No. It depends on what the definition of blow is.
No,
no, he didn't.
No,
didn't say that. Okay.
If I were Bill Clinton, I would have come out and just been like, "Look, here's the thing. Donald Trump used to make a lot of donations to me, and this was the one thing that he asked for, and he wanted to do it to the president, and you know." I don't know. I just think it would have been a really great opportunity for Bill Clinton to put Donald Trump, you know, just humble him in some way, and then to be like, "No, I'm just kidding. It was a joke." You know, I think Bill Clinton
only in the world of Donald Trump could a story like this even emerge.
Yeah. How much of all of the things that we saw released last week, how many of them would, for anyone else, had been just... it would have ended their administration. It would have completely upended their administration. Forget last week. Go back to day one when he did that pose mocking the disabled reporter. Yeah.
Like how did that wasn't the end of it? I will never understand.
No, I couldn't tell you either. But like, if let's say he's already he is the president, but like for anyone else, this would have been the scandal. Any one of these would have been the scandal that would have ended his presidency. His cabinet would have already voted on the 25th Amendment, and we'd be swearing someone else in. Right.
So when you get your beard dyed blue, will that end any political aspirations you have? I just want to know.
I don't have any political aspirations at this moment. So if we're going to bring that up, Atlanta Falcons lost to the Carolina Panthers twice this season. I do not have a date yet. Zach and I have discussed he is planning on using as high a quality dye as he can afford. He did make a comment that it will be as permanent as possible. And
I hope you get your eyebrows. That would be the best.
we never did. Oh, shit. We never did come up with like a timeline for how long I have to keep this. Because of course I could just shave. Now my eyebrows, That's going to be weird.
Exactly.
I don't
Exactly.
and I don't like the fact that you're putting
And
thoughts into Zach's head.
as he's applying it, I want him to do it slowly. I want him to do it with feeling.
So
and
we're
I want
filming
music.
this.
I want certain music in the background. Bow, chicky, bow, wow, and chicky, bow. I want that in the background.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy this.
Yeah. So we're filming this. This has got to be filmed. Obviously, we got to make. This is going to have to be content. Of course it does.
Yeah.
I wonder.
And why would you make such a bet? Why? Why would you even go to the mat with something like this?
This is, you know, I've not ever lost this bet. We've made this bet every year over and over and over, never lost it. We've either split it or I've won.
What was his consequences if he had lost?
Yeah, so if he had lost, he was going to have to run a 40-yard dash in front of our entire fantasy football league. And we were going to use his time to determine how we created the draft order. So if, let's say, so we would all guess as to what his time was in the 40-yard dash, and the closest people to that number, over or under, would then set the order 1 through 10.
So how? Again, you made a terrible bet. Like, even if you won, you lost.
Yeah.
I mean, watching him do it, was he doing it in a skivvies or something that'd be funny? Or he's just running a 40-yard dash and you're turning that into a magic roll of the dice as to who goes first in fantasy league?
I don't want to assume Zach's athleticism, but if, let's say, Michael Jordan is here, Zach's somewhere down here. No offense to Zach.
Okay.
I'm not.
No offense to Zach. Of course, there's offense to Zach.
Most of the offenses to Michael Jordan, because there's not that much distance between here and here. Zach is not going to be happy about this. But it, I just thought it would be funny that if Zach lost, if the Panthers lost twice, to have Zach have to run 40 yards and us time it. Next time we'll make sure. Okay. I did acknowledge, though, I have never made a bet with Zach or with anyone else that actually cost anyone any money. So this will be the first bet that's had an outcome. He's going to have to pay for the die.
I was going to say it actually cost him money.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, ultimately I'm fine with it. I made my bed. I will lie in it. And this is,
so at work, do you have to
outcome.
get into video conferences? I know you work from home.
There have been requirements from time to time when we're on the phone with clients that we have to be on camera, but I don't have a client-facing job unless I am requested.
Is this going to be you on camera?
Exactly.
Hi. Let me double check on that. I've learned my lesson. I will not accept bets that are going to alter my outward perception. I don't want to have my beard colored blue, especially not Panthers blue. And I told somebody today, I said, I recognize that the Falcons, at least in the NFC, are the worst team. Well, there are worse teams. There are teams that don't have any win. Or I guess, do we have any 0 teams yet? I don't think we do. No. Everybody's got at least a win. But I mean, you've got the Giants, which are way down there. The Saints which are way down there.
You can usually count on the Jets to not be any good. But in my opinion, the worst team in the league lost to the second worst team in the league. And, for anyone that's proud of although the Panthers are now second and they're like a half game out from potentially being the NFC South champions. So
they're certainly overachieving. I couldn't even remember who their quarterback was. Some young guy that was recently drafted that they got, franchise tag slapped on already. The future of their franchise is this guy. So maybe they're onto something.
Bryce Young is the smallest quarterback I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Like,
Bryce Young sounds like an award name. I got the Bryce Young Award.
Yeah. And nothing to be proud of, but when I see him standing among the giants that make up his offensive line, it's like, because I
Michael
think,
Vick was that way. He was a
yeah,
tiny
Michael Vick was
quarterback
tiny.
compared. Doug Flutie was tiny. I remember seeing him play for a little bit.
Yeah.
Tebow was kind of a shortish guy. There have been some notable tiny quarterbacks.
Yeah, for sure. It's you know, I'm a little embarrassed about the fact that I followed through with this bet, but you know,
Well,
it'll be
next year
good
maybe you can
content.
bet that the loser has to get decircumcised, and
I don't think we can film that. That doesn't sound like content for the show. I don't think.
creatively you'll figure a way.
Yeah. I wanted to also discuss. Are we done talking about my blue beard? I just want to make sure that we're through with that.
We'll never be done.
I want to make sure that we do it soon. I'm guessing that it will probably be after Thanksgiving. So I'm thinking somewhere in the between Thanksgiving and Christmas time period.
Oh, you don't want to sit at the table with your extended family and
Wearing
everybody
a blue
commenting
beard.
on your blue beard?
Let me tell you,
Come on.
the conversations with certain individuals in that extended family are uncomfortable enough, but for me to sit there and be like, this is how liberal I am. Look, I came with nobody dressed up with a red beard.
When they always mock liberals as having blue hair, crazies,
Yeah.
and then there you are at the table with your blue hair.
I'll own it. That doesn't bother me. I'll own it.
Get a nose ring while you're at it.
Where did I put it? I
Let's
had
go.
it here somewhere. My nose ring I usually keep on my desk. I think I took it out and cleaned it earlier. That's why it's not here right now. So ultimately there will be probably at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks of this blue beard before I shave it off.
Oh yeah, family Christmas photos are going to be a blast this year. I can't wait to see the card.
Do you all do family photos for Christmas?
No, I mean we do Christmas cards, and we'll just do a collage of photos over the past year.
Okay,
but we don't do the standard. Everybody get together.
Your Christmas card's not up anymore, but I had your Christmas card from last year. It was on.
That was nice of me.
It was on the wall. Yeah, I thanked you. We talked about this. If you don't remember, it's because of your age. But yeah, I did have a question. What was, looking back on when your children were younger, what was the age about that they stopped taking you seriously? Like when they knew he probably wasn't really going to take a belt to me.
Oh. Well, that kind of dismisses all the times I took belts to them, so I don't know that ever happened. I mean, I used to whip the shit out of my kids. There's your clip for the week.
Yeah. I imagine I will message Amanda
I never,
and ask her.
No, I never raised them out of fear or intimidation anyway. So
yeah.
I don't know that there was ever a time they didn't take me seriously. I mean, I remember my son, second, third grade, maybe fourth grade, he had a bullying incident where he was a bully. He was bullying a kid on the bus.
Yeah.
And he was a sweet kid otherwise, but I got a report from a parent that he was picking on another kid. And I had talked to him, sat him down at the kitchen table, and then I had him go get all of his Marvel comics, and he threw them in the trash. I made him toss his entire Marvel collection in the trash that he cherished. And he was just devastated. And I said, all of that stuff does not equal one other child's dignity. You made him feel so bad. And I says, I don't believe in inflicting physical punishment, but there's plenty of other ways to punish that leave an unforgettable life lesson.
Yeah.
And
I think what I have recognized is that my daughters don't take me seriously almost all the time. And mostly it's because they're well behaved and they don't I don't have to, they seem to.
Well, what's the evidence of them not taking you seriously? I mean, are you asking them to take out the trash and they just laugh at you? I mean, how does it manifest itself?
Yeah, it's similar sort of situations when it comes to I asked one of them to I was trying to take the trash out and I asked one of them to grab a plastic bag so I could put it in the trash can. And she looked at me and she goes, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, really." She goes, "No." And I go, "Yes, please." Like I'm at.
What age is this?
They're 11.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
11.
normal. And then the only way to counteract that is when they need you to do something.
Sure.
Dad, can you take me here? Or can you do it? No.
Yeah.
You just reply with the exact same response and attitude so they can feel what that's like.
So I already have repaid on that one because there was no toilet paper in the bathroom downstairs, and I heard the scream from the yell from downstairs from upstairs. I need toilet paper. I said, no, you don't. So, I did eventually throw like a grenade toilet paper into the bathroom after a good little while. So that was entertaining. The House is going to vote on the release or the request to the Department of Justice on the Epstein files tomorrow. As many as 100 Republicans may be voting in favor of this. So Representative Swalwell was correct. He
Remember that
exactly
prediction,
correct.
Huh?
He was exactly
How about
correct.
that?
And ultimately, I believe him. I think that he had these conversations that if it looked like this was going to be as bad as it is, that there were going to be defections from the Republicans.
So why didn't Trump just allow it to or just let it happen? Why did he have to come out and then pretend like he supported this release now? Where all along he's been calling it a hoax.
Yeah.
And a distraction. Why is he now full-throated in support?
Ultimately, I think I suspect that the reason, because he's tired of losing. I think the reason that he decided, you know what? Well, okay, so there's several things in play. I still don't think that this is ever actually going to release what the Department of Justice has in its possession, because ultimately what Trump did over the weekend was tell Pam Bondi, I open an investigation into any of the Democrats that are listed in the Epstein files, which means if there's an active Department of Justice investigation going on, that they don't have to turn over anything, that any request from Congress or even up to the Supreme Court can go as long as the investigation is open. And I suspect what we're going to have is this unending investigation into this to keep it from getting out. I think,
or maybe it was a code to kind of say release only the ones that involve Democrats.
Potentially. But there's going to be such a mismatch of, if they release the testimony from the grand jury testimony from that was given by victims, because we know that is part of what the Department of Justice has. That was what was used to convict Epstein. So we know that if that gets released and there is no correlation between everything that came out with the emails that we got last week and all of the evidence that sort of has just been a slow release from the oversight committees and the Epstein estate and things like that. If there's a mismatch of information, if there's no correlation between what's here and what's here, I want to assume that people with a modicum of intelligence are going to look at this and go, he's still hiding,
Well, you said it.
And modicum of intelligence.
Oh, well, nice try.
Yeah. It's still disturbing to me that even with the emails that came out last week, that there are a number of people in my own feeds that think that this is all still just a hoax. That, the Democrats last week from the Oversight Committee released 3 emails. The Republicans released more than 20,000 emails. And they seem to be in disbelief that what was released by the Republicans is actually even real. And I don't get that. I don't understand what it is that they're watching or listening to or paying attention to, because I think I even saw Steve Bannon acknowledge that this is bad. This looks really bad for the president. Steve Bannon's name is mentioned in these Epstein emails from the Epstein estate that the Oversight Committee released. I don't think it looks good for Steve Bannon. Anyone that has their name attached to an email or an email address attached to something that Epstein was potentially sending back and forth with an individual, person, I don't think that looks good for you. I don't care if it was just business stuff. I can't imagine a scenario where now, looking back on everything that Epstein did, what he was convicted of, what he was going to spend the rest of his life in jail for, did spend the rest of his life in jail for, I can't imagine that it looks good to have your name associated with him. And now we know Trump's been lying about their relationship because he said he cut it off in mid 2000s. And obviously they were still talking up until 2019 till he got, till he was arrested, or, I still suspect that Trump had something to do with Epstein's death. I know that sounds conspiratorial.
It happened under his presidency.
Yeah. In a federal prison.
Mm-hmm. With missing footage. I mean, how many freaking dots do you need to connect here?
It feels
to
appropriate.
Take this local, what I'm finding fascinating here in South Carolina is the governor's race and Congresswoman Nancy Mace and all of them trying to get Trump's coveted endorsement. Right? Yeah. That's the prized possession. Which one of these 5 candidates is going to get the Trump seal of approval? And Nancy Mace was one of the initial signatories on the discharge papers, right? Yeah. And Trump tried to get her to take her name off of it. She refused. Right. She's not getting no Trump endorsement.
No.
Right? Not before the primary. She's not getting any seal of approval from him. So has she just knocked herself out of the race because of this stance that she took?
Well, it depends on how all this plays out. Because I think that there are a number of Republican representatives and senators that are facing the realization that if they don't vote in favor of releasing this data, even though now they're basically free and clear of any real responsibility, because we all know that it's not going to have any impact. The Department of Justice in an open investigation isn't going to release anything. So now it's easy to sign on to it. And Donald Trump telling all of the Republicans in the House to vote in favor of it is basically him giving them a pass because it's not going to have any impact. He has to sign it into law if it comes across his desk. So ultimately,
so it's going to go out of the House into the Senate. Senate will likely pass it.
Yeah.
So now you get to the big moment. Will Trump sign his own execution warrant?
And ultimately, I can tell you what he's going to do. There's an open investigation. I can't do anything about that. They're looking into it, so I can't sign this. And
he's not going to have one of his signing ceremonies where he holds his signature up and waves it around, right?
It would literally be next to his acknowledgement of the 25th Amendment and being removed from office.
Right, right.
Speaking of stupid and Epstein and all of that, I did have one last thing that I wanted to share before we moved on. This was a clip from Megyn Kelly. I'm assuming you've already seen this, but
we all know it.
Yeah, this is one of the more disturbing things that I've seen lately. And ultimately, I don't understand. Megyn Kelly I've never been super impressed with Megyn Kelly. Because she went from being, a Fox News host to she's bleeding out of her whatever to NBC and the Today Show. And then now she's back on, I guess, Sirius XM or whatever. Anyway, I wanted to share this real quick. This was from her show last week.
As for Epstein, I've said this before, but just as a reminder, I do know somebody very, very close to this case who is in a position to know virtually everything, not everything, but virtually everything. And this person has told me from the start, years and years ago, that Jeffrey Epstein, in this person's view, was not a pedophile. This is this person's view, who was there for a lot of this, but that he was into the barely legal type. Like he liked 15-year-old girls. And I realize this is disgusting. I'm definitely not trying to make an excuse for this. I'm just giving you facts. That he wasn't into like 8-year-olds. But he liked the very young teen types that could pass for even younger than they were, but would look legal to a passerby. And that is what I believed, and that was what I reliably was told for many years. And as
I find that to be absolutely disgusting, because if you watch that whole show from that particular episode.
No, I want to be clear here. Was she stating her belief? Or was she repeating something somebody else who virtually knew everything believed? I was listening carefully. I didn't hear her issue an opinion. I heard her issue or just
someone
kind of repeat what she heard somebody else say.
Right. I think that it's my problem with that is, one, if you're going to say that, so what you're saying is correct. She did not give her opinion, but the fact that she would share it on her program as though,
please, I'm not a Megyn Kelly defender, but you're right. I mean, she could have picked anybody else to talk to, but and she didn't couch it like, you ought to hear what this one idiot told me.
Right.
Like, she didn't couch it that way.
Yeah. And ultimate, like for me, I don't believe her story. Megyn Kelly is one of these reporters in the early days and now a talking head that gave names. Like, she would out someone, but someone in her sphere said something that to me is appalling. The idea that pedophilia has some sort of a cutoff date or birth or year or whatever, that anything before 9 is pedophilia, everything after, gray area. No, that's insane to me, especially coming from Megyn Kelly, who took abuse from Donald Trump after he found her to be very attractive. Then he found her to be bleeding out of her eyes or whatever, like, how do you split the difference on that and be okay with it and act like this is normal? I just don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you, she has been tarred and feathered with that little clip, and I would say deservedly so, and may her career be forever in the shitter from now on.
Yeah.
She has zero credibility in this world.
It's I would like to know if she's going to look into who Bubba is. Ultimately, I want an in-depth. report.
She knows somebody who virtually knows everything.
That's true.
So go ask this asshole what Bubba's about. That's what she'd be asking for, not his definitions of pedophilia. Ask what the definition of Bubba is. That's what we want to know.
That is what we want to know. I want to know who Bubba is. And ultimately, again, I think Bill Clinton still has plenty of opportunity to come out and be like, you know what? It was me. It was me. Donald Trump, marginally okay at it.
I honestly don't see Clinton out there with the zingers. That's just not his style. He's not an own the Trump type of guy.
Yeah.
He's pretty bad at it.
I know. Hey, before we wrap it up, one last thing. I did sit down and interview John Sears, who is the owner of Hendrick's Rooftop Bar and Restaurant here in Columbia. He also owns Jake's on Divine, as well as the No Name Deli. We sat down and talked about the liquor liability laws and how that's impacting Columbia businesses here and across the state. I mean, it was a very intriguing conversation. I look forward to releasing that on Monday. I got some work to do on it to try and get everything normal. This idiot forgot to bring the attachment for the camera to sit it on top of the tripod. So it's an odd angle. It's an odd angle.
Okay.
It's kind of up and but it worked out. The sound is great. So,
that's all that counts.
But John Sears did enjoy sitting down with him at his restaurant and talking about that. So
I thought you were going to talk about the doppelganger today. You got me all excited to bring that topic up.
The doppelganger. And don't think that it's something you've done wrong. My memory,
was that clip I sent you of that guy that went to the doctor's office, the baseball player.
That was interesting. The fact that you have two baseball
Well, we're
players.
out of time. Hold on. There isn't enough time in the show left to go and explain it and do it justice. We'll save that for Wednesday.
You're right. We'll do that Wednesday. This is going to wrap it up for this episode. Big thanks to everybody watching. Thanks for listening.
Don't forget a teaser, Barrett. A teaser. And you haven't done any promos yet today. What's going on?
Well, see, here's the thing. And ultimately, I can't do a promo for an event that isn't happening. It has been
is there no
postponed.
Ever Play sports event happening at a food collection agency at Soul House this week? I mean, what?
It's a lot of the food. I have not gotten a report on how the food drive went this weekend, but I did go and hang out for a little while at it. The one out in Lexington. And the food pantry there definitely had received quite a bit of food prior to my arrival, and there were many cars that were pulling up as I was leaving. So it looked like they did pretty well, but I'm hoping that we'll get a report on that, how it did. As well, the Priest Jacobs Soul House sessions for Wednesday night has been postponed. There's a personal situation going on with the guest that hoping whatever it is gets resolved quickly and that gets put back on the schedule, because I was looking forward to it. Yeah, so for now, I don't have any announcements that anyone's asked me to make, except that Bill Kimler.
There's no Everplay Sports Pocketball tournament coming up.
Well, the season deadline is coming up on the 19th. So if you're listening to this podcast through the podcast verse, you do have to deal with listening to the commercial at the beginning and the commercial at the end. Those are produced.
Bumper in the trailer.
I want to make sure that Zach's voice gets out there on those commercials. So.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm enjoying hearing Ami's voice replace mine at the beginning of the episode with the commercial.
Don't worry. This is the last week that the Thanksgiving one is running, because nobody will be able to get it beforehand.
Who's got the Christmas sweater voice?
You gave me the Christmas elf voice.
I did not. Did I? The Christmas elf is back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christmas elf comes back for Christmas. So.
Forgot about that one.
Look forward to that. All right. Don't forget, you can follow me at Barrett Gruber across social media, Bill Kimler at politicalbillsc. Thanks for liking and hitting that bell. And if you can, give us a 5-star review and leave a comment. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself.